The morning was cold in a small village far away from the big city. The sky was gray and the wind was moving slowly across the empty road. In front of a small, broken house made from old wood and rusty iron sheets, a little boy was sitting on the ground alone. His name was Daniel, and he was only 5 years old. His clothes were old and dirty, and his feet were bare on the cold sand. He was not playing like the other children in the village. He was quiet, holding his knees with his small hands and looking down at the ground. Inside the house, his mother was coughing again and again. She had been sick for a long time, and every day she became weaker. His father was lying on a small bed near the wall. He used to be strong, but sickness had taken his strength away. There was no food on the table, and the house felt empty and sad. Daniel felt hungry, but he did not ask for food. He knew his parents had nothing to give him. So he stayed outside, drawing lines in the dust with a small stone, trying not to cry. Other children passed on the road, going to school, laughing and talking. Daniel watched them quietly, his eyes full of tears. He did not know that this morning would change his life forever. Very soon, someone would come to the house, and after that day, nothing would ever be the same again. Inside the small, broken house, the air felt heavy and quiet. Daniel was still sitting outside, but from where he sat, he could hear the low voices of his parents talking. They thought he was too young to understand, so they spoke softly, but the house was small, and every sound could be heard clearly. His mother was sitting on the floor near the bed, holding a small cloth in her hand. She looked very weak, and her face was pale. She started coughing again, and this time the coughing did not stop quickly. Daniel's father tried to sit up from the bed, but his body was too tired. He reached his hand slowly and said in a weak voice, "Please, don't talk too much. You need to rest." His mother shook her head slowly. Tears were already in her eyes. "I am not worried about myself," she said quietly. "I am worried about our son." When Daniel heard those words, his heart started beating fast. He moved closer to the door without making noise. He did not want them to see him, but he wanted to hear what they were saying. His father closed his eyes for a moment before speaking again. "I know. I am worried too. He is still very small. He cannot live alone. If something happens to us, what will happen to him?" The mother covered her face with the cloth and started crying softly. "We have no money, no food, no family helping us. I don't want my child to suffer. I don't want him to sleep hungry." Daniel did not understand everything, but he understood one thing. His parents were afraid. He held the door slowly and looked inside. He saw his mother crying and his father looking at the roof like he was thinking very hard. Daniel wanted to go inside and hug them, but he stopped. He felt like something bad was coming, even though nobody said it clearly. After some time, his father spoke again. "There is only one person who can help," he said slowly. "My brother." The mother looked up quickly. "You mean his uncle?" she asked. His father nodded. "Yes, he has a house. He has food. Maybe he can take the boy. Maybe he can give him a better life than we can." When the mother heard that, she started crying harder. "I don't want my son to leave me," she said. "He is all I have." Outside the house, Daniel felt his eyes becoming wet. He did not know why, but hearing those words made his chest hurt. He did not want to leave his parents. Even if they were poor, even if they had no food, he wanted to stay with them. At that moment, the sound of footsteps came from the road. Someone was coming closer to the house. Daniel turned his head slowly and looked. A tall man was walking toward the door. It was his uncle. Daniel did not know that this visit would change his life forever. The man who was walking toward the house stopped in front of the door. He was tall and looked tired from traveling. It was Daniel's uncle, his father's younger brother. Daniel stood up slowly and looked at him without smiling. He did not see his uncle very often, so he felt shy. The uncle looked at the boy for a moment, then looked at the broken house. His face became serious. He knocked on the door and said, "Brother, it's me." Inside the house, Daniel's father tried to sit up again. His mother quickly wiped her tears. "Come in," the father said. The uncle entered and looked around the house. There was almost nothing inside. No food on the table, no fire burning, only silence. He looked at his brother lying on the bed and shook his head slowly. "You look very sick," he said. The father smiled weakly. "Life is not easy." After some time, the uncle spoke again. "I heard about your problem. That is why I came." The mother looked at him with hope, but also fear. The uncle looked at Daniel, who was standing near the door. "The boy cannot live like this," he said. "He is too small." Nobody spoke for a moment. Then the uncle said the words that changed everything. "Let him come with me. I will take him to my house." Daniel felt his heart jump. His mother started crying again. The house became very quiet after the uncle spoke. Daniel's mother held him tightly and did not want to let go. "My son is still small," she said. "He needs me." The uncle spoke in a calm voice. "He also needs food. He needs a place to live. You know you cannot take care of him now." The father closed his eyes. Tears came out slowly. He did not want his son to leave, but he knew the uncle was right. Daniel looked from his father to his mother. "Am I going somewhere?" he asked softly. His mother hugged him again. "You will stay with your uncle for some time," she said, trying to smile. Daniel did not understand, but he felt afraid. After some time, the uncle held the boy's hand. "It is time to go," he said. Daniel walked out of the house slowly. He turned back many times. His mother was crying at the door. His father could not stand up. That was the last time he saw them together. After a long walk, they arrived at the uncle's house. It was bigger than Daniel's house. There was food smell in the air. For a moment, Daniel felt happy, but when they reached the door, a woman came out. She was the uncle's wife. She looked at the boy and frowned. "Who is this?" she asked. "My brother's son," the uncle said. "He will stay with us." The woman's face became hard. "Why?" she asked. "We already have problems." Daniel felt fear again. He knew this woman did not like him. From the first day, the woman was not kind to Daniel. She gave him work every morning. "Clean the floor. Bring water. Wash this. Do that." Daniel tried to do everything right, but if he made a mistake, she shouted. Sometimes she did not give him food. Sometimes she pushed him away. At night, Daniel cried quietly. He missed his mother. He missed his father. But nobody listened. One afternoon, Daniel was washing plates. His hands were small and weak. One plate slipped and fell. Crack! It broke on the ground. The woman ran into the room. Her face was full of anger. "You useless boy!" she shouted. Daniel started shaking. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. But she did not listen. She pulled him by the arm. You only bring trouble to this house. The uncle was there, but he stayed quiet. Daniel looked at him, hoping for help. No help came. The woman opened the door loudly. Get out, she shouted. Leave this house. Daniel thought she was joking, but she pushed him outside. He fell on the ground. He started crying. Uncle, please. The door closed. Nobody came out. The small boy stood alone. He had no bag, no food, no shoes, only tears. The sun went down slowly. The road became dark. Daniel walked without knowing where to go. He was tired and hungry. He sat near the roadside and hugged himself. Cars passed. People passed. Nobody stopped. He whispered, Mom, I am scared. Cold wind touched his skin. He started crying quietly. Late at night, an old man was walking home. He saw something near the road. He looked closer. It was the small boy. The old man stopped. Child, why are you here? He asked. Daniel looked up with wet eyes. I don't have a home, he said. The old man felt pain in his heart. He held the boy's hand. Come with me, he said. The old man took Daniel to his small house. He gave him food. He gave him warm clothes. He gave him a bed. That night, Daniel slept without fear. Days passed. The old man sent him to school. He taught him to read. He told him, Your life can still be good. Daniel started smiling again. Slowly, his pain became hope. Many years passed. Daniel grew up to be a strong young man. He never forgot the night he slept on the street. One day, he built a home for poor children. Children with no parents came to live there. People asked him, Why do you help them? He smiled and said, Because one day I was that child. He looked at the sky and whispered, Thank you to the man who saved me. From that day, no child near him ever slept on the street again.